All right, guys, before we get this match started, please remember to vote for the Xperia Sony smartphone poll. It is your last chance, as we will be showing the results in just a second. But for now, we're going to be jumping straight into MLG Shakura's Plateau here for Game 6 between EGHuk and Complexity Heart.
Man, so coming into this game, EGHuk just finally got a bit of a break that he might need to get out of that mental state and take the momentum back in his favor. So over here on the right side of the map, here on Shakura's Plateau, playing for Team Evil Geniuses, give a cheer for EGHuk. And on the other side of the map, we know he's got brains, we know he's got courage, he's playing for Complexity, give a cheer for Heart.
So now we've seen Heart go for the economic-based play. We've seen him go for the cheesy play last game. Is it time for the 1-1-1 play, Rob?
You know what? I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't do it last game.
Yeah. I mean, it worked so well for him. The thing with EGHuk is that he defends so well against it. It's that second attack in the 1-1-1 that he has trouble with. That even if with an economic opening, he just held it for so long, but he couldn't quite hold it long enough in yesterday's match.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happens, right? The strength of that build is that you can just keep throwing things at your opponent.
You just rally everything across the map. So let's see what Heart is going to be up to here. As really everyone's wondering, will he play for the economic game? Will he go for the cheese? Will he just 1-1-1?
Well, you know, effectively he's got another throwaway game, right? So this is kind of where he can just try something crazy again.
Right. And I think EGHuk's probably just going to go for the same opening that we've seen from him almost this entire series, almost this entire extended series. It's just such a safe opening. We see that he can almost hold everything. Yeah. Even last game, his control was tip-top. So.
Absolutely. As long as he gets that robo out, and just that robo is so much the answer to a lot of the strategies that the Terran player is able to use, right? We saw just how effective getting out that Immortal was against that oddly timed 3-racks play, and we certainly know that getting out that odds and having your robo early will help immensely with a 1-1-1.
Absolutely. And Heart does have his gas thrown down, and he did just let the probe in. So EGHuk knows that he's not going for that 1-racks expand here, and we'll see what he's going to be expecting. And here are the results, guys, from that Xperia Sony smartphone poll at the bottom. 93% for EGHuk, 7 for Heart.
Oh, man. That's
actually, I think yesterday it was 95-5 between these two. So 2% gain for Heart.
Oh, that's
in the last 24 hours.
Hey, man, but that's not how you look at it. You got to look at it like 40% gained. So over here we have Heart adding on another Rex. He's also going for Reaper first.
Yeah, so a Reaper coming out here for Heart. What does he have in store here? EGHuk is most likely going to be throwing down his Nexus in due time as he's quickly approaching that 400 minerals here. The Reaper is about to finish, though, and he's also started the concussive shell upgrade.
As he's got this extremely fast Reaper, and we see that EGHuk is actually placing down a Nexus of his own down at his natural. I'm not sure how many kills this Reaper is going to be able to get, although it will be annoying as long as he's able to force out units from EGHuk. But we've seen EGHuk consistently open with Stalker first anyway.
Right. And the big thing here is that EGHuk does have this probe over in the middle of the map, right in the pathway of that soon-to-be finished Reaper. And let's see exactly where it is going to pass by.
And so as Adebisi was showing us with his superb observing, EGHuk already has a pylon in the back left of his base, so he is expecting that potentially this could happen. EGHuk has also started his robotics facility to just about over the halfway mark, and it's seeming like he could very well hold this off.
And the Reaper is actually up in the main, and there is no Stalker in sight here, not even one being built, so Heart's going to be able to control here. Well, maybe as those probes have done a lot of damage, but if he controls properly, that Reaper's going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Oh, getting very close here, and he's going to finish it off with only probes. Man. That is huge for EGHuk.
That was awesome for EGHuk, taking a pretty big risk there, not having the Stalker in his base to defend from that, but he's just so smart with his probes.
Yeah, he really, really is, and Heart's going to expand off of this as well as send out a handful of Marines and Marauders over towards his opponent, but by that time, that Immortal's going to be out for EGHuk. He should be able to defend against that easily, as he did last game.
And here we actually have Heart now starting a command center at his natural. which is going to be pretty big. We've also got Huk. He just popped out his first Immortal, so that's going to be pretty huge to hold off any of this aggression that may have come out of Heart. Heart's got a few Marauders moving across the map, and as long as we see Huk with that Immortal there, he should be able to hold. We've got the Zealots closing a bit of the ground, and as soon as Heart sees the Immortal, he is forced to retreat.
He only has one sentry there, so he will not be able to completely separate those forces, but at the same time, here's a forward pylon for Hux that he has snuck in with this probe as the expansion has started, and the probe will not be seen as the rallies were somewhat off here coming out of those racks for Heart, but he's still continuing to rally into the center of the map with this upcoming attack. Stim is halfway complete, most likely will be waiting for that to finish before moving on.
So Huk is currently working on his Observer. It's almost finished, which means that once he gets over there and gets to that forward pylon that was placed down, he can warp in units into Heart's base. And because of Heart's army position, he won't have a quick answer.
Absolutely. He's also going to see this little army in the center of the map, and things, really what's to come here. 2 more gates being added on. I think that is a total of 5 for Huk, and he does have 2 pylons coming down. Currently supply block. That Stalker is going to die, though.
Now, oh no, man, for a second it looks like Heart was able to see the Shimmer. Now Huk is following around the army with his Observer. He's not going in to try and get that above ground vision quite yet.
And Heart falling back here. He does have, once again, a Reaper here on the left-hand side has scouted a forward pylon, but it is not the one that he should be worried about.
Oh man, he does see the Shimmer and finishes off the Observer. A nice scan from Heart.
Yeah, and will Huk continue with this attack? Looks like he does want to press it, but how hard will he really move forward here, and how far will he really move forward as he warps in 3 more Zealots and 2 more Sentries. Heart does have enough units here, but he needs this bunker and possibly a second one to finish to be able to hold this.
Man, so Huk has got a little bit of a contain. We can see that Heart is just preparing very well for any assault that could potentially come in. That bunker's now finished up and loaded. And Huk warping in some units here. He is going for a bit of a push. We see the stim from Heart. Now Huk is trying to push through, but there's just so much damage coming down onto his units, and his attack has been turned around.
Now, there is Huk actually getting some nice force fields. That was a really nice bait as he left the sentry with the most energy in the back, baited that down, and then cut the army in half. And now things are looking really, really good for Huk here, as he does have another Immortal in his army, and that Stalker barely gets away.
Man, Huk being so smart with the mind games, making Heart feel confident enough to unload his bunker and drop it down. Now, we see that Huk does currently have vision up into the main, so we could see those units warped in behind Heart as soon as he starts to push out. Now we see that 2 of Heart's medevacs have been loaded up with his entire army, so his base is so vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Huk actually scouted those. He does not have control of any of the watchtowers either, but here is a warp on. Warped 4 Zealots right now going straight towards the main. How many units does he have to deal with this? Marauder and 2 Marines are running as fast as they possibly can. He's going straight for the tech lab.
Right, and this is just such a smart move. You can stop that Marauder production. There he is taking down the tech lab. It just takes so long to build. Oh no, there's only 20 HP remaining. He gets in 2 SCVs, but he is able to take it down. And the Zealots continue their assault into the base.
And, you know, Huk doesn't really see a big army dealing with this, so he's kept his army back at base, and this drop is about to occur here. The 2 medevacs are right behind the main mineral line, and here he goes.
And now before this, Huk still was not able to see that starport back there, and so there goes the drop starting to take down a lot of Huk's units. Now, his army is still pretty much down at his natural, so he's going to be able to potentially pick off some of these tech structures.
Hey, just going for the pylons at the moment. And he's going to lift right back up into the medevac. Did lose 2 of the Marines there as they got screwed and left behind, but Huk actually defending very well, and he's looking very good in this map.
Yeah, man. So Huk, unfortunately, he didn't have his units in position to be able to kill off those medevacs, which would have been so money. Oh, wow, and Heart has actually seen that pylon down there. Yeah, and of course, here he goes to kill it.
Yeah, finally. Right now, Huk is in such a great position. His first Colossus is about to pop out. Not even sure. Okay, we do have 1 Viking, 2 Vikings now being trained with 2 already out on the map. So he's going to be okay against that. But the big thing here is that Huk just has, well, actually, Huk's a little bit behind right now. So pretty even, actually, now that I look at it.
Right, exactly. So we actually see that as far as upgrades go, Heart is just a little bit ahead on him. He already has his ground upgrades started, and right now Huk is just adding on his forge. You see one of those forward pylons taken down there. And the medevac's potentially going to go for some sneaky shenanigans as soon as he can distract Huk.
Huk actually so fearful of these drops right now with the Stalker on the left-hand side of his main, the Zealots and Colossus on the right-hand side, and Hart is moving out with his forces. But he does not, he has 2 medevacs right now. He does have those 4 Vikings. He's going to try to get in there before that Colossus count gets too high, it looks like, as right now he's just vying for map control.
Oh man, and Hart, yes, continuing to move out with his units, dropping them down and healing them up potentially before he drops. Oh, realizing that he can actually attack the pylon from the low ground. Now, Huk that time did have Stalkers in position, able to defend, but oh man, the medevacs are in range, and he just continues his dance at the back of the base.
Pylon goes down, and he is still very still in the center of the map, just rallying more and more units. That Colossus was getting close to the edge there. He's loaded up in the medevacs. He might just go join forces here in the center of the map as +1 is about to finish. 2 more Vikings as well. There's the Twilight Council going down for Huk, and more Colossus on the way.
Now, as far as these armies and supplies go, Huk is actually in a pretty rough spot. We see his float slowly rising because he's been supply blocked for the last few seconds, and he's getting out here. He sees vision. He knows the threat. Now he knows the Viking count, and he's going to have to defend so well.
And here we go. Yeah, this attack is about to happen here. He has a lot of Vikings and not so many Stalkers here at the front, but moving up, the force fields still have not been thrown out. There we go. Not a complete wall off though, as he can still get up there. There's the last force field. The Colossus taking a huge shot there. 2 more remain. 1 remains there, but Huk has done a pretty good job with only his gateway units. Colossus are down, but Hart does not have that much of an army really left behind those force fields.
Oh man, but Hart is going to be following up with even more of his infantry, and now we have Huk trying to warp in reinforcements. See him dropping down those force fields. Is he going to be able to hold this? We see the Vikings being landed in the back. Hart is very much going for the killing blow here. The Immortal is caught just a little bit out of position, and here come all of these stim units. Now that he's out of force fields, Huk is in so much trouble.
Colossus is about to pop though. Only 2 Vikings over here, but actually 1 sentry up on the high ground, so he will be able to drop a force field, but Huk's on 1 base. There's the Colossus. It takes a couple volleys already from those Vikings.
Oh man, and now without the Colossus to back him up, those Vikings just made such short work of them in the beginning. He's trying to warp in units in a last-ditch effort. The force field misses, unfortunately, and that means that Hart is going to be able to walk right into his base.
And that Colossus is still not being dealt with, though. Already up to 8 kills. And more game units being warped in. This attack, well, it's not going to be stopped because here come the reinforcements. Now the Colossus is running for its life here, and it falls. And with that, Huk's chances of taking this game as well is pretty much win for a GG.
Hart is just hammering the nail into Huk's coffin repeatedly with all of these stimmed infantry units. Man, here he comes just going in for the killing blow. The probes going for a bit of a surround. The assault may be stopped for a little bit. We see the last remaining Colossus go down, and Marauders continue into the base. We actually even have a factory landed into Huk's main.
And Huk actually started a Nexus down at his 3rd, but then cancels it right away. I guess he's still in this map for some time, but there's just so much stuff being stemmed and rallied across. Good game, well played, good luck. Huk concedes, and Hart is your winner.
Man, a great play coming out of Hart there. So I guess it must just be Artosis because Day9's walking around. Dan, what'd you think about that one?
Oh, the other Plot brother's back. They're so sneaky.
Well, you know, Huk actually just kind of messed up that last engagement, unfortunately. It's, I thought he played well throughout that game and throughout the series. It's just that last engagement, he started attacking down into his own force fields, getting a lot of free hits for the other units. Some of his units were back. The Colossi were trying to run from the Vikings. They weren't really attacking the army. Yeah. It was just a misengagement.
Yeah, the Vikings really wrecked the Colossi, and that's usually a game changer. But Hart played really well. You know, he's not as much of a well-known player. I know Huk's sort of a fan favorite, but Hart is really making a name for himself now. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, top 3 now in an MLG there after taking out Huk. He's going up against DRG next. How do you guys think that match is going to go before we cut to a quick commercial?
Oh, you know, we keep underestimating Hart, but it's DRG, man. I think that DRG is going
to be brutal.
I mean, if liver out.
If you're at home and you have children in the room, you might not want them to see the carnage that is going to occur in that series. So.
Looks like actually in a couple of minutes we're actually going to do an interview with Hart before going into this next match. So going to see what his thoughts are on that last match. And I mean, where does Huk go from here, Artosis and Tastosis, or Tasteless rather?
Where does Hart go?
No, Huck. I mean,
Oh,
after
Huck?
this tournament, how big of a loss is that to him?
Well, you know, he obviously takes any loss hard. He's a great player and a champion, but he should be very happy with where he's finished here. Top 4, it's absolutely amazing. That's 2 MLGs in a row that he did fantastically at.
Yeah, I mean, Huck has proven repeatedly that he can get very deep. I mean, sometimes win, but generally speaking, just get very deep in any tournament he enters.
Yeah.
And so, once again, just going back for a little bit, back to this matchup that Hart's going to have to face, he's actually going into this at an 0-2 deficit because Dong Regu already beat him.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
we said that DRG was going to beat him
Yeah.
before, but this is, that's a hard uphill battle right there.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. DRG is going to have some serious stamina, too, because if he does go through Hart, then he's got to go through yet another Terran.
Yeah.
I mean, Marine King Prime gets to literally watch how DRG is going to try to handle a Hart strategy, so that's another factor to keep in mind. That's one of the things that DRG ends up getting punished by that Marine King does not have to deal with.
Oh, yeah, both ways. This is actually looking really good for Marine King.
Yeah, yeah, and guys, we're really starting to get into the money now. Huck actually just earned 5,500, but third is 9,000, second 15 grand, and first, of course, 25 grand here at the Winter Championships. So a lot of money on the line in these upcoming matches.
That's absolutely right, JP.
Money's pretty cool.
Money is awesome.
Money's
man.
pretty sick, guys.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem. Come to me anytime.
Oh, man. Hey, so how's your day been, Nick? How's your day been? I haven't seen you much.
I'm good. I had bungled a wise quote with man cannot play StarCraft with clenched fists. It's all over the internet, so now it's clenching fish or something. So.
Oh, man,
Did you hear
I
about
saw
that?
one of those signs out there, and now it all makes
Yeah.
sense.
This is like in MLG, the Winter Arena in New York, where Artosis was jet lagged and trying to be wise, and he said something to the extent of, I believe what Dan was trying to say was, you cannot be a king forever, but instead he said, all kings must die. Do you remember
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
No, that's
a
what
good
I meant.
line.
That's what I meant.
I think it's actually really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out,
Watch out, guys.
Shakespeare. Artosis is on the loose.